welcome to the Gaia update for the new moon in Leo that's happening on July 31st, 2019. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, this new moon has a lot of powerful messages for us. First of all, this is the first lunation after and most incredibly confusing and deep and rather intense eclipse season. And so we're completing that, although the energy of eclipses can last 6 months. So we're still trying to figure out what this is all about. But it's pretty amazing that on the day of this new moon, it's also the exact time within an hour that Mercury turns direct after this sojourn through the end degrees of Cancer, bringing up deep feelings of regret and grief and failure that may be old, and not have anything really to do with your current life, although it's triggered. And so people have been going into deep, dark places. But this is really, really important because we're finding out what in our psyche is keeping us from coming into the light. And this new moon in Leo is all about that. So this new moon in Leo, it's really quite amazing that it happens at 11:11 p.m. on the 31st on Eastern time in the U.S. Now, this is where the capital is, and the U.S. is going through such a tumultuous experience in its identity and in its political process. And so I feel like this is a microcosm of the macrocosm and representing what's going on bigger levels and giving us some huge information about what's going on and what's trying to happen in our own psyche. So 1111 is a gateway number. 11 is a master builder number. It's about building something new. And so 2 11s together creates a portal, an archway, a gateway into new energies. Now with the Leo energy, Leo is ruled by the sun. And so we are talking about identity and who we are. And so it's time for a new identity in the U.S., in our political system. It's time for a new identity in our own individual experience. But really not so much just a new identity, but coming back into who we really are. And so this is what this whole journey of these eclipses have been about. Figuring out, getting closer, getting down into the raw nitty gritty and ripping open our heart so we can come into more of the true essence of who we are. And it's incredibly powerful time. So on that, within an hour is when Mercury of this new moon is when Mercury turns direct. Now Mercury will then have to sojourn for the last time through those last degrees of Cancer. So the shit is still going to be flying, okay? Because what's with the nodes here in this area, the nodes of the moon around future and past karma and Saturn and Pluto and the interaction of all these planets. Every single planet has taken their turn opposing these planets, all of our daily planets taking a turn opposing, coming into contact with the nodes and opposing Saturn and Pluto there in Capricorn, speaking to this 2020 astrology, this breaking down of the old guard, breaking down of the old way, breaking down of what's false and not serving us. And so it's going to make its third pass through, so we still have some more. But what's been happening with this is it feels like people are so triggered right now, and everything is so close to the surface. And it feels like if you're not careful out there in the world, you can get in the crosshairs of this kind of explosive expression of shadow energy coming up. And it's almost like it can just kind of get onto you and cling onto you, and just kind of like, whoa, what's going on out here in the world, and what it is it's a deep karmic cleansing and an emotional karmic cleansing and a cleansing of all of what we haven't been willing and able to look at and clear within our psyche is just popping up like a boil, and it's just like flying around in the world right now. And so it's really important to just stay as centered and present as you can, especially when you're out in public or around other people, because there's projections flying everywhere. It's like a hall of mirrors, and when you can just hold your space, you can let that stuff just bounce off of you and recognize it, observe it, but not necessarily take it on, because sensitive souls are really feeling attacked right now. But what it seems the messages coming through around this is it's not so much a direct attack against you, although it kind of feels like that, and maybe there's some truth in that too, because the closer we get on our journey towards the light, the more resistance we come up against. You know, the closer we get to freedom from the matrix, the more we're going to get hassled. But there's also this kind of like just big cleansing going on, and so you can easily get in the crosshairs of situations and energies and emotions, and they might cling to you because you're sensitive, you know. And so it's just a time to like take a few deep breaths and really be present in all of your interactions with people right now, so you don't take on the energy that is being thrown around. And people have it's deeply unconscious stuff, right? And so the medicine for that is to be conscious and present as much as you can. And all of this intensity is leading us closer. The goal, the point is to lead us closer to the true essence of who we are, to that light within, to our consciousness, to our higher self. And this Leo energy speaks to that. So for this new moon, we have the sun in Leo, the moon in Leo, we've got Venus in Leo, and Mars in Leo. And so it's going to be it's like we've gone through all this dark Mercury retrograde, you know, through these end degrees of Cancer and the nodes and on the past and the goop and the gunk and the stuff and the vulnerabilities and the sensitivities. And now it's like, you know, being birthed through into the light. And that has its own energy of maybe stress on the nervous system, because now those things that we've been wrestling with in the darkness are, you know, the light is shining on them and there's no turning back. So a lot of truth coming forward, especially right now with Chiron and Aries. This is coming up a lot because Chiron, we're moving into this fire energy. And so we're feeling Chiron and Aries, and Chiron is our deepest wounds and Aries is around the self and whether it's okay for us to be who we really are. And this Leo energy, this new moon, this portal, this 1111 portal is just pushing us through into a birth, into our new identity, but really it's closer to our old identity, or it's the true essence of our soul that's been neglected, rejected, thrown away, cast aside, playing small, you know, buying into all the stories of shame, failure, and just a bunch of layers of heaviness from multiple lifetimes going way back into ancient history. So it's just messy, but it's about to get cleaned up, or at least be revealed in the light. And in order to be cleaned up. So now that's an interesting energy. We're being supported in this because leading up to this new moon on Wednesday the 31st, we've got Mars in trine to Jupiter. And now this is really sweet because Jupiter, we talked about how Jupiter in Sagittarius, home in Sagittarius, represents that quest and this feeling of longing and desire to have a life of meaning and purpose and to get back onto the meaning. And, you know, this has been gaslit away from us over lifetimes, brainwashed. We've been brainwashed into thinking that that's not important, you know, like look over here, this is what's important, the physical world, the wealth, the manifestation of physical items and what you have in your life and your ego. And this Jupiter in Sagittarius is like, whoa, I need meaning and purpose. I can't live this empty life anymore, right? Like I've just gone along with things hoping they're going to get better for so long. And now this feeling inside of me, and especially with this indigo, lightworker souls, starseeds, it's like, whoa, we've got that Chiron and Aries energy. You've got to be true to yourself. And then with this Mars in Leo, a very powerful energy, because Mars wants to move and go and create and make some stuff happen and have motion and momentum. In Leo, it's about our light, our identity, our truth, our creative forces, and Mars is like the warrior, right? And it's a warrior for the light. And in trine to Jupiter, because Jupiter had all those, it's just one after another of squares, and those are going to come back next month. But right now we're having a like, oh my gosh, maybe it is possible to have a life of meaning and purpose. Maybe I'm closer than I thought. Maybe that crazy last couple of months of heavy energy was actually bringing me to a strength within myself to claim back the truth of who I am, right? As Mars in Leo is about shining your light and expressing yourself, and it is time to turn the light on. Okay, so it's a very supportive energy, especially because we're not feeling a whole bunch of squares and oppositions, those tension aspects. And when we're not feeling those, the trines and sextiles can come to the surface and be more available to us. So we're being given a little gift here right now of impetus, energy, and support for getting back on our quest, getting moving on our projects, getting more clear about our purpose here, and just bringing back the light, the joy, the connection to creative energy. And so take advantage of this, and we're going to be feeling that right up until the new moon, and it started around the 22nd. So we have about a week there here of this energy, and it's kind of undoing all of the knots of the squares with Jupiter, all of this tension, all of this this challenge. Like, who says you have a quest anyway? Oh, you just think you're so self-important. That's your ego talking. You think you're better than everybody else. It's like, I think I've actually lived like a whole bunch of lifetimes and evolutions to be here right now and do something more than just exist like a vegetable. Although that brings back this point where, existing here on the planet and being in your truth and your vibrational, allowing your vibrational energy to be harmonious and rise in frequency, that is a huge purpose for these souls right now. So I don't want to discount that. But there's also this feeling of being thwarted and blocked and having absolutely no validation or support for this deeper truth and purpose and gifts and skills that we have developed over so many lifetimes, and yet the earth has not really wanted them, and we've been persecuted for them. So we've been cast them aside, and it's time to claim them back. And so the universe is saying, okay, come on, let's go. So the one aspect that is going to be happening during this new moon is very important, because we have that Mars trine Jupiter, and then what kicks in is the sun in Leo, right at this new moon. So the moon will be making this square too. And so the sun and the moon are going to come into this square with Uranus and Taurus. And so Uranus and Taurus is representing trying to infuse our physical reality with new energy, frequency, vibrational, technological energy, information. And the sun in square to Uranus is saying, what part of your identity and who you think you are is not able to shift into those new energies, right? Like, what's blocking you? Of course, all this fire energy is saying, hook it up to the creative forces and you'll be fine, right? Hook up to that true essence, like practice connection to life force, whether that be through nature, through activity, through art, music, creative expression. There's so many ways to do it, but it's up to us to claim this back. Right? And we're being supported in this, but the sun square Uranus is saying, what part of yourself isn't willing to move into the new energies? What that false identity that you keep going back to that makes you feel safe, that everybody else wants you to be, the roles you've played for everybody else, lifetime after lifetime, pushing the truth of yourself deeper inside and deeper away and repressed and this is where we're at. We're having a quandary right now because the universe is saying you got to be who you are. If you're going to shine your light, if you're going to come back on your quest, you got to be who you really are. And we're like, I don't know who I am. I give it away. I agreed to pretend that I was something different for so many lives. I don't know. And I'm programmed with fear around accessing this light and this power and these gifts, even though I know that I have them. I know I have this purpose. I know there's something in there. And yet this whole world, everybody around you says, no. Focus over here, right? This is what makes you happy. Material wealth and attachment to the ego, and that's what's going to make you happy. And just be happy, be fine. What's your problem? And it's like, ooh, but that stuff, you can't take it with you. And if you're attached to the material, you can't even fully leave the earth when it's time to, adjust from this lifetime and heal and move into your next lifetime or your next experience. And so it's a trap. And those of us who are exiting the matrix are feeling the tension here around the closer you get, the more freedom you get, the more you're going to find these attacking forces come in and try to pull you back down. The goal of the control energies is to have us all in the mainframe, right? All in the lower matrix. But it's just not happening. We're popping up like popcorn. The awakening is happening. And so much of these messages are coming forward with this astrology and this big fire, bloom of fire, and that Mars trine Jupiter, giving us an opportunity to just turn it up back on and, work on this relationship here rather than everything you've been doing to get what you need in this life, and come back to you as your own source. This is the most important fundamental concept of our time, I feel like, is that we've been taught that we're empty and we need to be fueled, right? And we need to get what we need in this life to survive from outside sources. And fundamentally, it is not true on an energetic level. We are our own source. The fact that we exist means that we are connected to consciousness in a fundamental way, that we have access to that consciousness, the creative energy that creates worlds, creates all manifested form. First there's energy, then there's manifested form. So if you're going to be all attached and all living your whole life about manifested form, it is not going to end well, And those of us who can't quite go there, we are the medicine for this planet right now. We are holding the truth and the space and the light that there is something greater than the story we've been told. And so even though you might not feel that deep satisfaction, the work you're doing right now is very profound and powerful and helpful. And thank you so much for showing up, being here on the planet, going through everything you've gone through, because it's time to move through to a new chapter. And we are being pushed through. Now, this portal started at the solstice, right? And this is a very important marker. This Leo new moon is like, wait, I thought I was dead or dying or, I don't know, being reborn, I guess, but it was all dark there for a while. And now there's a flicker of light back. And that flicker of light is all we need to realign, reconnect, give ourselves permission. It's a really important time to spend some time with yourself, with this concept of you as your own source, feeding yourself, being open to creative energies. The true creative process is typically done alone. Once in a while you can get a group project going on, but it's typically people trading off, leading the way and stuff. Like the true creative intimacy with God and source and the energetic origins of our existence happen when we're with ourselves. And so it's a really powerful, potent time to, use that Cancer energy, drop all the old stories and the pain and the grief, and be like, so we're still having those messages because, Mercury's still in Cancer, and North Node is in Cancer. And so, all of this happens through nurturing ourselves into a new reality. And so, sometimes it's really hard to do around other people because there's all these expectations and roles and games and all that. So it's a really powerful time to go within, go to nature, be connected within yourself, and just enjoy your own energy. So much empaths and sensitive souls have a really hard time because they're so sensitive to take on energies of other people. It could be, sometimes I read people in my individual sessions, they have like 1,000 souls energy of other people in their field, and they don't even know it. That's a lot. I mean, it's like, so this is partly what validates the type of soul that you are. If you're interested in this work and this message, you're big, you have huge, huge energy, right? And of course you're playing about this much, but that allows, it's like, oh, and other people are like, oh, I want to come and hang out in your energy, you know? And you're like, well, I can, so I might as well. And it's like, no, that's not why you're here. You're not here to be a sacrificial lamb, you know, for some people who don't want to do their own work. You're here to be autonomous and claim back your power and claim back your light. And this is the time we are in right now. And so if you can exercise that in the way that you can, use that Cancer energy of nurturing yourself into this being your own source. So when people, empaths, clear the energy and allow themselves time, it's a process, right? Because it's karmic contracts that makes that happen. If we need soul retrieval work, we're not whole and complete. We can't feel when we're taking on the energies of other people till it's too late. But when you do allow that autonomy for yourself, and first it happens in little bits, like little flashes, little moments, right? And so you got to kind of claim it more and more, and you're in your own bubble of light. You're going to feel really good, okay? It's like enjoying your own energy. And it just completely breaks the paradigm that we need to go out there and play a whole bunch of games to get what we need from other people. It's like enough of this story, right? That's a narcissist agenda. And we can't play that game. It's just not even possible for these types of souls. It's painful. It's damaging. We've played it for far too long, and the game's over, right? And so time to turn your light on and move into this new chapter. And, you know, part of the deal with this Sun square Uranus that's happening for this new moon is that Uranus always brings us an opportunity to connect with our higher self. Information coming in. Sometimes it's dramatic realizations that shake our world, you know, but what they're doing is they're shaking out the old patterns that aren't useful anymore. So it can be abrupt. It can be kind of traumatic in a way, but just so freeing. It's just like breaking the chain. So a big energy around this new moon is to pay attention to the messages, the synchronicities, you know, and again, it's just like, just reach up, just go, I'm going around that energy. I'm going to my higher self, right? I'm like this, you know, nothing in this world right now, you know, for the most part can support you for who you really are in your light, because for lifetimes you've had people feeding on you, and that's been fine, but you know, now game over. And so you have got to put those boundaries, take this time for yourself, claim your autonomy, claim your own energy, and start enjoying it. And that is the first step on that path of feeling, you know, moving towards that life of deep purpose and meaning and doing what you're here to do here, and being in alignment with your true self, and you know, feeling this. Our true state is this place of joy and connection to creative forces, but we have been pushed with this lower matrix energies down like a cork on the water, pushed down under the water, right? And we got to remove all of this bullshit so that we can pop back up and operate on this frequency. That's what we need to survive for our own health, and that's what we're being called to do for the planet. And it's interesting because you'll get those messages, you're just selfish, you know, why can't you give me what I want you to give me, you know? And it's like, oh, you know, actually, no, this is the most compassionate, beautiful thing you can do for the planet. And the process that we're in right now in this human evolution is to let your light shine, enjoy your energy, claim it for yourself. We cannot do anything good in this world unless we are coming from a place of being whole and complete. And so we got to put ourselves back together and know we deserve. That's the nurturing part. We got to be gentle. We got to be compassionate and train ourselves back into a new way of relating to our light and our truth, so that we can be like, this is precious. And I'm not going to be just giving it away in order to kind of appease the forces around me anymore. This is something I've worked on for many lifetimes and evolutions, way before coming to the earth, right? And it's time to claim that back. And that it's not at all selfish. It's the most compassionate, beautiful thing you can do. And a big part of your purpose here, claiming your right to be happy and joyful and have those higher vibrational frequencies. So we're on quite a journey here, because of course we have to let go of those deep, powerful emotions and vulnerabilities that are coming up and clear that away so we can dig out the jewels and the gifts of who we really are and start to live in that frequency. And the universe is trying to help us do it right now. So I hope you can join me for a live activation to make the most of the energies of this powerful Leo new moon. This is going to happen exactly 12 hours before the new moon at 9 a.m. Mountain Time in the U.S. On Wednesday the 31st. And if you can't make the live, so I schedule these according to where the vibrational energy is right to encode along with the moon. And so it's never able to be convenient for all time zones. But just know that, especially for these activations, if you want to join, you want to be a part of this energy, your intent to join, you're signing up, brings your energy into the field, gets your questions answered, and gets the images and the meditation energies, the healing energies that come through. You know, I don't plan any of this. We're connecting. So the powerful energy of this new moon is, you know, it's time to connect to our higher self and to our highest truth. And so that's going to be part of the gift of this activation. But if you can't make the live, you can just catch the replay whenever you can. At the same link that you sign up, you can get immediate access to the replay right after the event, and it's there for you. And so you can go and catch that energy anytime. And the new moon, we feel it for about 24 hours around the moon very intensely. So that whole day, the 31st and the 1st, we're going to be feeling this energy, and Mercury turned direct. You know, oh gosh. And it's like, oh, we've been down in the muck trying to deal with it all, you know, but now it's like the rubber band it's getting tighter and tighter, more intense, and now it's like going to be released. When you're stuck in the mud and the wheels start turning again, the shit can fly. You know, and that's kind of what I'm seeing right now, is people getting splattered and gummed up from the energies that are just trying to are exploding out of people with this emotional karmic cleansing process right now. So just know that. But it's also like, as soon as Mercury turns, it's heading towards the light. Yeah, it's got to go third time through those last Cancer energies, but it's heading towards the light. It knows it's going to make it into Leo, and it's like a champion with a torch, right? And with this new information, this new perspective, this clarity, this cleansing the way for that more access to the truth and the light within us. And so I hope you can join me for that live activation. It'll be awesome energy, and just hold space for you and who you are and what you're here on this journey for, ultimately in your heart of heart and your truth of truth. When we can, it's interesting because Leo has an energy of love and opening the heart and wanting to love, but we cannot love really authentically in this paradigm until we can love ourselves. And so by having those boundaries and having this ultimate massive compassion for everything your soul's gone through to get to this point, and just turning off all the other voices that want to tell you about who you need to be or who you are, it's just incredibly powerful time that can pay off huge as we move into these next few energies, like Mercury coming into Leo on the 11th, 12th of August. So that's going to be a very powerful week, because we're still going to have Venus and Mars and now Mercury and the Sun in Leo. And so it's like coming face to face with who you really are. And are you ready? Are you ready for that? Are you ready to turn your light on? And it's like we've talked about that path behind us that's falling away, and we can't turn back. And now we're looking into this portal into the future, facing the truth of who we are. through all the fear programming and through all of the conceptual, psychological ideas and everybody else's idea of who we need to be, and just burning through all of it to come back into the sacred, most intimate, most valuable and rewarding connection to the I am within. So it's a beautiful journey, and I'm glad that we're here together. So hang in there. We're having a huge shift coming up here, and I'm glad we can be together for it. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.